bhogaratova sangaratova sangavina.
It's human memory which is the source of all bondage. What you call as karma is just memory on different levels of life. Memory is like a doorway. A doorway can open, but also it can close. If doors open for you, you experience doors as beautiful things. If doors close in your face, you always remember doors as horrible things. Isn't it so? In your life, if doors are opening for you wherever you go, you see door as a very wonderful thing. But if it's always slamming in your face, door is a horrible thing. Memory is just like this. Memory is what has given us the ability to be informed. It is because we are capable of making ourselves informed about various things. Many beautiful things have happened in our lives, many. The very basis of civilization is memory. Today, what goes as learning is simply memory, isn't it? When you were in school or college or whatever, education, please take the memory stick off the cell phone. Someone was asking me, Sadhguru, shall we put a jammer, cell phone jammer in the temple and in the Spanda hall? I said, jam the cell phone users, not the cell phone. Because technology is not the problem. Irresponsible usage is the problem, isn't it? It's made our lives good, but many people are using technology to make their lives ugly, very ugly. It can nurture human life, can save human life, but many people are using it to take human life, to take the life of the planet itself. So memory is just like that, because memory is the fundamental ingredient for all technology. Memory transmitted from generation to generation. That is how. If your father knew how to do one stitch, you learned how to make the second stitch, and your children learned the third stitch. This is how things have happened. But if you did not remember the first stitch, reinventing the wheel all the time, nothing would have happened, isn't it? Just intelligence would not have led to civilization. Memory is important. At the same time, memory also makes your life repetitive, not receptive, simply repetitive. When you carry a certain volume of memory within you, life becomes repetitive, automatic. All sense of being human, all the possibilities of being spontaneous, all the possibility of exploring new terrain in one's life gets obliterated because of memory. As I said, it's like a doorway. It all depends whether it's opening for you or closing for you. When people try to learn by sheer memory, many things happen. And a lot of so-called culture and civilization is a product of that, sheer memory, not much intelligence in it. Together, they are a deadly combination. Just memory is simply repetitiveness. One of the Isha meditators from United States wanted to come for samyama program in India. They would like to have their own samyama program, but we're still denying it to them for a variety of reasons. So, they have to come to India. Last 4 years, he's been planning and planning, but he has a cat that he loves. And to leave the cat for more than 2 weeks and come to India has been very difficult. You know, the cat. He divorced his wife about 6 years ago. So he has no such problems. But the cat, and slowly these 4 years, people coming here and going back and saying either fabulous or horrible stories about samyama. See, both of them stimulate you. Some people come from samyama and say fabulous stories about it. Some people come out of samyama and say horrible stories about it, because it's the way you make it for yourself. Slowly, he became little more dispassionate and he decided to come. So he handed his cat over to his brother. And then he traveled to India, landed at the Chennai airport. The moment he cleared the customs, first thing he did was, he borrowed a volunteer's phone who had come to receive the US meditators who were landing that day. And he said, I need to make a call to United States. So, okay. So he called his brother. And first thing he asked, how is the cat? The brother said, cat is dead. He said, what? Cat dead? He screamed and yelled and cried. And then he said, okay, it's dead. We can always get another cat. But don't you have any sensitivity? Couldn't you say in a gentler way, simply barking, cat is dead? Is there no sensitivity at all in you? Then the brother asked, okay, what was I supposed to say? It's dead. I can understand it's dead, but Couldn't you say something? Couldn't you say, the cat went up to the rooftop, there it rained heavily and he got soaked, and you called the fire brigade, and you went up and you got it down, and you put him… you took all the care, put him in the cat hospital, but he got pneumonia. And he passed on, but peacefully. Something. There is no sign of civilization in you. What is this? Cat is dead. Then he said, okay, next time I'll try. Then he said, all right, how are you? He said, I'm doing well. How is mother? Well, she went up to the roof. Lot of civilization has become like this because information that travels from generation to generation gets stored in different ways and so much distortion, and now you can't look at anything straight the way it is. Minds get so deeply conditioned that you can't look at anything straight anymore. This was only a 26-year-old young man from India who went to United States as a software engineer. And he was there for more than 2.5 years, doing well before the meltdown. And it so happened, I had to go to his apartment because I was transiting between two programs and I had to just change. And his apartment was in the most convenient place. And I went and he was struggling around, he was alone in the house. Sadhguru, is there something that you want, this? I said, don't bother, I just need water. And I opened the refrigerator. There I saw cans and cans of yogurt or curd. Because the boy doesn't know how to cook much, so he's just making rice and curd. After all, he's from Tamil Nadu, Thair Sadam. He's got bottles of pickle and lots of curd. Cook the rice, you got something going. So I looked at this curd and it had gelatin in it. And I knew this boy's family background. And I said, you're eating this curd with gelatin? He said, what is that? I said, well, gelatin comes from the cow's gums, dead ones, and it is mixed with yogurt because of certain keeping quality, and you're eating it, is it okay with you? If you not eat, it's up to you. If you're eating unknowingly. And he felt so distressed. He struggled because he didn't want to eat cow's gums, but they mix it with the yogurt. And he struggled and he couldn't stay in United States. In another 4 months or so, 4 or 6 months, he left his job and traveled back to Chennai to eat fresh curd. Just the way culture shapes you. Culture is just memory. Memory, the negative terminology for memory is brainwashing or conditioning, or it's a kind of internal hypnosis. Now, the whole revulsion that is happening in his body and his mind is genuine. Cow is not biting from inside, but his revulsion is genuine, he's really struggling. Every other American is not eating just the gums of the cow, the whole cow, and they got no problem. Cow doesn't bite from inside, but just the idea is so strong in your mind. Now, actually every cell in your body will revolt. It's not just psychological, even physiologically things will happen to you. If nobody had told you, you would be happily eating the yogurt. But now the revulsion is so deep and he couldn't handle it. So what you call as culture is just memory. What you call as civilization is just memory. Memory is not useless, memory is useful. But if you do not know how to keep it aside, that becomes your biggest bondage, because life becomes repetitive. When you're repetitive, you cannot be receptive. Receptivity happens because you kept your repetitiveness aside.